I'd like to show you a little bit of how to sew on this. First, if you're winding the bobbin, you would do this towards you. Most of the time when you're sewing, then you have to have it like this. That makes it where the needle will go up and down. So we've got bobbin thread pulled through, and I'm going to set this be at 3 or 4. If I'm going to do straight stitching, I have this stitch width to 0, a red dot, and here for long stitches you go like a 6, and if you want short close together or small stitches you would go closer like a 12 or 24 per inch. When you're sewing, you want the feed dogs up so that they're moving the fabric through, unless you're wanting to do kind of free motion, going, where it's not pulling the fabric through, then you're going to do that, and that would drop the feed dogs down so that they don't pull the fabric through. But generally when you're sewing, you do this. This is the button to turn the machine off and on. So the machine is on. Have stitch width, stitch length, and have the tension. So I'm going to just sew some paper towel here. You put it through, you put this down, and in the back there's a little this to put the feed dogs up or down. And actually down in here there's something you can cut the thread after you pull it through. You can hold it and cut it on this little knife. So I will put the fabric there, put the feed dogs down, and step on the pedal. And so it's on straight stitch. And if I do a longer thread length, I can do shorter, or I can go reverse if I want. When you're done, you can turn this so that it goes just up and over the top. And you lift this presser foot, you pull it like that, and then I said there's that little knife that I showed you. You kind of grab it and pull it, and so there's this stitching. If you see a bunch of red coming through from the top, that means that that this is not set high enough, because this sets how hard the top thread pulls on the bottom thread. So if the bottom thread, like in this case the white, if you saw a bunch of white up here, then that would mean that your tension is set too high, it's pulling too hard. If you saw a bunch of red underneath, then that would mean that the bottom thread is pulling too hard, so you need to tighten and pull harder. You want the bottom thread and the top thread to kind of meet in the middle, not one pulling it through to the bottom or the other pulling through to the top. So, and if you want to do a zigzag on this machine, you would turn this however wide, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you want it really wide, and once again this is just the length of the stitch. So I'll put it on fairly fine stitch and fairly wide, and we'll see what the zigzag looks like. And if I go narrower all the way to a straight stitch, and wider, really wide, and close together, or really long stitch. And come up, needle up and over, and then you can pull it and cut it off, and you can see wide stitch, narrow stitch, long stitch length, and then short stitch length and longer stitch length. And you see a little bit of red, so you could tighten up the tension a little bit. You turn this maybe from a 3 to a 4. A little bit of red pulling through to the bottom, and I don't see any white coming through on the top. So that's the role of the tension. Depending how thick and what type of fabric, you can adjust this to pull, and this one pulls harder on the top thread. So if its top thread is showing here on the bottom, it's not pulling hard enough, then you tighten it up, and if the bottom thread is being pulled through, then you loosen it off. That's how you sew.